so now what do I do? Oh shit, this is going to suck. Oh no, I shouldn't have done this. I should have done just like a normal 3 episode campaign in Hindi. That would have been fine. But no, the more I went forward with it, the more I like, no, I want it to be like a truly global production, as it were. Uh,
And that's amazing. Like,
and that's rare.
congratulations.
I mean, it's not rare, I would say, considering like most of the actual plays are online and done across time zones. But not in this way, I feel.
No, no. Very seldom, but that's also a cool thing that makes it very unique.
Yeah. And when we came to, like how do we, compose that, uh, was it you suggested like, can I compose this on stream?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, that would be so cool to see it actually happen and people will be wondering like, what is this about? Um,
that's the best part. You just don't say anything about it. You just, guys, I'm just composing it live. It's for a project, but I can't say much about this. And it's nice to see you in the audience too, so that you can actually real time tell me what to change, because that's what I sometimes like to do. Like if I can invite the people who actually commission me or ask me to work on um the project, if they are live with me, it's actually easy to kind of collaborate and tell me what we need. I think that's what a lot of like composers love to do when we have the space for it, is to invite you guys over to our studio to kind of to work together. But it's very difficult when it's global production and my studio is small.
I wanted to ask you about one thing as a artist to artist,
Yeah.
as a very amateur musician to a professional musician. What ha how do you feel when the person you're composing for is too agreeable with you? When you're like, is this okay? And they're like, oh no, everything you're doing is great. And you're like, but I could do better. Is this okay? And I know I sometimes get that, like, I want you to give me feedback so that I can work with it and maybe find ways to improve it. Like, I'm speaking from a personal experience when it comes to, drawing storyboards, etc., etc. So what do you feel about that? How do you manage that?
I think that's a very good question, because like that tends to happen. Like, I would say half and half. Sometimes you get like a lot of like the people who I work with who are like, yes, I need this, this, that,
Hmm.
and it's very specific. But sometimes people are too agreeable, and the problem will lead into some, not all the time, rarely, but it is a problem when like the music being too agreeable, we didn't change much and ended up not working well. So that's what we want to avoid. So we do like to hear like feedback, because it actually helps us to understand what you want. So if I ever had like this sort of problem, I think like what we could usually do is to piece the music up to whatever media that you're trying to piece it up with, and then we sit down, digest it, and then kind of like, okay, now what do you think now, putting it with the music and the film or whatever, do you still feel the same way? If it still feels the same way, then great. If not, then we can kind of like work from there, because I think this is a case for a lot of people, which I totally understand. Unless you're a musician yourself, it is very difficult to explain music.
Yeah.
So I completely understand if you're like, oh, I don't know how to say this. And then I usually ask, what color do you see in this scene? What's the mood? What instrument do you hear? Is it something very brassy? Is it something very solemn, sweet? Like these sort of prompts are important to ask a person, I think, if you're working on that sort of thing. Because I sometimes hire artists to draw stuff for me, and I also have the same problem. I'm like, I usually don't know what I want. And like
No,
asking these questions are
you're
always
right.
good. Yeah.
You're right. Especially, I also give, I tend to give people as much emotions as possible as a reference, for so that at least they have like a base point to start with, or at least to start to think about. Like when I worked with Feroz, I gave him a ton of references, which like he was like, okay, this is too many references now. I'm like, okay, I'll stop. uh,
Yeah, that can be a problem because like we also want to have individuality of your music too. So sometimes having too much conflicting references might just muddle the waters.
yeah.
So that's also that I think it's a balance. There's no like you have to be this sort of way, but you have to have a balance between, you know.
Yeah, that's true. And like you said, like sometimes it's a thing of, the person who has to give feedback then being intimidated because they do not know the right terms
Yeah.
or what exactly to say sometimes. But when they sometimes they do give feedback, it also happens that we interpret it in a different way. I know I have,
Yeah.
because the terminologies for us and for them is so different, and the way they are interpreting it. So yeah, like you said, it's a fine balance. It's a not fine balance, but it is a balance that one has to make. When it came to In Memoriam, what was your thought process when you were starting to compose it?
I think I think like a lot of times when I compose, I kind of just like understand the story,
Mm,
and what I do usually is just play. I just play, go with the vibes, go with the mood, and that's how I usually compose. And I think like if you like me to narrow it down how I did it, it's really tricky because honestly, sometimes the vibes are hard to explain. You just kind of do it, like
mm,
with music especially. I think I don't know if like I talked to you about this on composing, but there are like sort of two kinds of composers or maybe more. I'm just like not generalizing it. It's just the ones I heard before. The planner and the grower. Like
mm.
so you usually plan your compositions, you have like a huge plan, the big plan of like what are you doing in this section, what key you're in, that sort of thing. I'm sort of like the cultivator, sort of like I play and see what happens
Yeah.
sort of person, because I like I tried doing planning, but I think efficiently I work best if I just play it. So if to answer your question, I think like I kind of just went with what I would see in memoriam, just
Mm.
my feelings and playing through it. That's how I
That
did it.
yeah, and I could see that live on the screen as you were opening it. This does this work? Is this flowing into this right?
Yeah,
Is this flowing into that right?
yeah,
Um, and yeah, people heard it and they were like, "Oh, I'm totally getting sort of Nausicaa Valley of the Wind or a bit of How to Train Your Dragon
yeah.
and Game of Thrones." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the vibe we that was the vibe we were going for."
I think you gave a very good description of what you would need, so I kind of just understand it pretty quickly. So also thanks to you.
And the way the music flows from it being a very calm, a very it's almost like somebody's trying to tell you a kindly story, like
Hmm.
a nice story, and then it flows into, and then this battle happened when everybody was murdered,
Yeah,
kind of a vibe. When it goes to like the heavy drums and everything.
yeah,
uh so I remember you actually working with trying to fix the tempo of, I think, the strings and with the drums.
yeah.
So what was actually, like, just from a technical standpoint, what was going wrong at that point?
I think
Not
at that
wrong, but I think, like, what was taking time.
I think trying to sync it up. Sometimes like the tempo doesn't feel nice or like it doesn't feel natural. Like
Mm,
the natural transition we want. Sometimes it's not there, especially we have a like I wouldn't say severe, it's like a drastic tempo change in the middle.
yeah.
It kind of needs to fit. And also uh there's a lot of things that I do in the background. It's just making sure all the time
Hmm.
signatures are correct and the the timing of the notes. That's what I was working on, just to make sure that it comes in at a good time, so that it doesn't sound a bit jarring. Because the drums are really good, but sometimes I play them a little bit early. I have to kind of shimmy them so that it starts correctly with the strings. And the way how strings work in this context, because this is not actual strings. It's a virtual instrument, and hence they kind of work in a they sometimes work in a more natural way, where like it takes a, a delay, a slight delay, for the notes to come out like a actual violin. So that sort of adjustments has to be made. Otherwise, it feels like we are pulling the notes a little bit too long, and it gives a dragging sort of like feeling, and that's not what we want in this sort of music. And that sort of detail is what I usually try to do while composing, because if it doesn't sound good to my ear, I need to fix it now. It's just not gonna sound good, like that sort of thing. Except for mixing. Mixing I usually leave to the last, because that's kind of like when you really don't touch the composition itself.
Oh, so you like wait like maybe a day to actually mix.
Yeah,
What's the reason for that?
it's good to kind of digest what you wrote at the moment, because you might think differently the next day. You might have a clearer head, especially like maybe you spend the whole evening or maybe the whole like half of your day just to compose a piece. You're gonna get fatigued. You're definitely getting fatigued. Your ears are gonna get fatigued. Your head is gonna get fatigued. You need to wait till the next day with a clearer, fresher mind, with a cup of coffee if you drink coffee or tea, whatever, and then listen to it with the context in your head. Then you can make a decision whether if it's a good piece or not, because you don't want to be doing it while you're tired. I think like that sort of like decision making, then it wouldn't be very, how would I put it, like it's not as bad. It's more of like you're trying to also get some rest. I don't know if you're gonna feel like you're very rushed to finish this and your decision is gonna be like, I'm done, I just want to get over it. I don't know, but I
Yeah,
always like
and
waiting the
like
next day.
it's also the thing like okay, I just need to get this done, so I'm getting it done however I can, and then the next day I'm like, oh, I could have taken some time, and like this doesn't feel right, and
Yes.
I was just like trying to get to bed yesterday. Like it has happened with me. Like I'm trying to finish an edit, and I'm just like finishing it, finishing because I need to finish it.
Yep.
But then like the next day I'm like, I thought I liked it, but I was just trying to get this done, which
Exactly. I mean, like, I don't blame you, especially when you're tired. It's not like you're not into the project, it's just you're
yeah,
tired.
yeah. Yeah, and that ear fatigue thing that totally checks out because you at that point it's really hard to actually balance things and like a fresh day definitely helps. Were there things that you found the next day which you were like, I can adjust it a bit more, I give this and that?
It was volume, mostly volume, because I think at the time of the stream, I was like chatting with everyone. I was like focusing two things at once, which
Mm-hmm.
it's fun, but sometimes it gets a little bit
Yeah.
jarring.
Yeah.
I wasn't focusing on the volume at all,
Mm,
because I then noticed like, oh, I think the strings are a bit too soft, or maybe the brass is a bit too loud, or maybe the drums are having too much mids. I'm talking about the
yeah.
low high mid stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when you start mixing and cutting stuff, or maybe then when you kind of sit down and listen to all of it, like, are we happy with all these instruments, or is there any instruments that if I take it out, it's not gonna sound good? That sort of thing. That's like a good um test for you. Like I heard it somewhere, I forgot. I think it's from my professor. Basically, you put your music there. You want to leave percussion to the last. You want your strings to kind of like, oh, like not strings, like your instruments, everything, to kind of sound good as it is, and then the percussion can come in, unless it's a percussion heavy,
Mm,
music. It's just kind of like it depends on the situation, but I like to use that sort of concept. Like, does it stand on its own without the percussion? Because sometimes the percussion kind of covers up everything, and then when you sit down and listen, now that's good, and then you can start like doing the finalized
mm.
you know methods and things like that. But yeah.
I mean, like some of the, especially with regards to the timings and when I think the main melody changes a little bit, and especially when the strings come in, um, when I was editing the actual play, and I had already edited, and I had to lay out the music and the sound effects at that point. Uh, Sometimes when I put the music and I adjusted it a little bit, it worked out so well with the dialogue somebody was saying, like
Nice.
especially when it was a beat. when there was a change in beat of the dialogue, like they were saying something and then it changed something, and that was the point when the music changed, and it lasted just the right amount until something else happened. I was like, oh my God, this is lucky. Uh,
Yeah, I think that's very lucky. I wouldn't know how long
yeah,
your dialogue's gonna be
yeah,
and the tone and the mood. I mean, like if it works out, great, because that's what we love, like that subtle, just nice fitting dialogue with the music. That's what we love. Whether if it's achievable, it's kind of like luck based, but I'm glad that happened. Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
And your music always shows up whenever the god is speaking or something is happening with the god.
Nice. Thank
Um,
you.
and I think Firoz's music comes up like quite a few times apart from like the title screen. But again, there are different parts of yeah, where it comes.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted to ask you, are you working on or actively like, have people reached out to you about their actual plays or their home games or things like that? Are you working on other things at the moment?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, because I think if I remember correctly, a month ago I actually posted like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
do actual play music. Do check it out if you want to." And yeah, people actually come by to just say like, "Hey, we love some music, not for actual play sometimes. Yes, for actual play, but sometimes they also ask, do you do um opening titles for Twitch,
Mhm.
which I do
Yeah.
write. I literally write anything you guys want me to write. And I've been trying to get more and more like, commissions. It's gonna be
Mm.
great. I love writing music. I mean, getting the commissions are always a nice thing to get like during the month. Like, oh yeah, I get to do this stuff. It's fun. The ones I've been writing recently are, well, it's yours and Jack's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack's lovely. I love the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah,
And oh yeah, and before this, this was like I think a year ago, the Storyteller Squad. I don't know if you met them before.
I haven't met them, but I know of them.
Yeah, they're very lovely people, super nice. I've been writing a lot of their music since last year or the year before. It was like kind of like the startup before helping High Rollers. Them, Omnivore Games, um the there's another group. Sorry, I forgot the name. It's because I haven't seen them in a long time. That's
Mm.
the thing, because I've been busy. They've been busy. Chaosiums. It was Chaosiums. What was it? Sorry. Let me just get the name now. I wanna know this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
no,
so
no,
sorry
I
to them
totally get
too.
that. I totally get that. I do that all the time. But I forget the name. I'm like, hey, just wait a minute. Let me find out what that is because it's itching my brain.
The writers room 7 Cs. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Zoe. I wrote a few tracks for them. It's just it's been a while since I reached out to them. I need to reach back out. It's just all of us are just busy. We actually wrote a few songs together. I wrote like that. Well, Zoe they wrote like a lovely uh song, and I kind of just added the orchestration to it. It's sung by a operatic singer too, which is really cool. Like that has been used in the actual plays, and apparently buckets of tears were collected, which is a good thing.
Nice.
Love to hear that. I need to reach out to them again. They are very, very lovely people if you
Mm.
do want to check them out. The Storyteller Squad and the writers from Seven Seas
Yeah,
and High
absolutely.
Rollers.
Yeah, I already follow high rollers. They do good shit. Uh,
They do.
and yeah, I want to know, have you ever composed things for your own games? For your
I have, which is what I'm gonna like drop right now, if you don't mind me saying this.
Yeah.
The music that I've been writing for my own home game is gonna come out soon as an album.
Ooh, that is so good.
Yeah,
Yes.
we were so like excited about this. Our DM is an artist, a lovely artist called Fail Draws. She is amazing, and she's been drawing a lot of fan art for our game. She drew my character Frederick, the sorcerer, the wild magic sorcerer Tabaxi. And then uh I was saying like, and then last year December, she was like, "Can we have like a title track for our game?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I can do that." Like, you drew so many things. I need to return the favor. And then I did the track, and I was like, "Wait a minute, we gotta have more than this." And then I keep
Yeah.
adding more and more. So
Maybe some
every
motifs. And
exactly like the important NPCs got their own theme.
oh damn.
Our characters have a leitmotif that has not turned into a theme yet, which is I'm working on it because thing about our characters, they kind of evolve through the stories.
Yeah.
Their stories are not done yet. I don't really want to like input anything until completely done. And then there is fighting music. There's also cafe music. Apparently, we have a cafe now in Waterdeep, I guess. So sure.
That's all. A cafe and water deep.
A cat cafe in Waterdeep. I
Oh
mean,
my god.
I
Yeah,
mean,
sure.
we have passive income. I'm just saying that we are getting money.
No, no, that's great. That's it's good to have passive incomes in even in fantasy.
I mean, the diamonds are they don't come cheap if
Yeah.
someone dies.
If someone dies, yeah, and you need to resurrect them. Where are you getting the diamonds from? Why are the profits from the cat cafe?
Exactly.
So
So yeah, that's like I was surprised by the amount of music I wrote because I just wrote as I was like going along like and last year like this year I think a lot of people knew that I was having some visa issues and I spend most of the time not like over brooding or like like I don't want to be
mm,
a waste of space just not doing anything. I just turned towards writing music. I wrote
yeah,
like at least 40 minutes of music at this point on that album.
nice.
I mean yeah, sure. I guess we did it. It's an album.
Yeah,
So we're gonna release it slowly. We're gonna push it out. I've been thinking about either doing a Kickstarter on it just to, get people involved and interested. I don't know, but the music's basically done. I just need to get it mixed. But yeah,
that is awesome. Like I'm so glad I reached out to you because and Feroz because initially I had thought of like, hey, I have GarageBand. I have composed in GarageBand by using Apple loops before.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I had initially thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna do whatever the basic mix I know how to do. Uh, and I'm just gonna, finish it. But I was like, hey, if I'm involving people from across cultures, from across the globe, from across different, areas of life, let me see if I can actually, bring them together. And my first thought went to like Firoz, who is my friend and who I have worked with before in my college and during my college days. And it's just a thing of like I tell him, I don't ask him, I tell him like, hey, you're working on this project, and he was like, okay. And
He's a wonderful composer. I heard the pieces was very
and
lovely.
when he says that, Aman, you're supposed to work on this project of mine now, I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. I can do that. I am.
Just trade. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you just trade stuff.
yeah, we always do that. So we have, it's been like 7 years since we worked together last, and we have been wanting to work together for a while now. We
That's
worked on
so good.
another music project back in college, and that was like a huge project of ours. And we were like, we need to work on something again. And this was finally it. I'm like so happy. I'm so happy to finally work with you because when I first heard Althea, I was like, oh, oh, okay, yeah. Let me first get her on the Infinite Tavern podcast. Let us just talk to her first and see like if she actually likes us or not.
No, you guys are amazing.
And then I was like, okay, let me reach out to Jolene for Qismat and see is this a story which speaks to her, which like she can actually see the story actually playing out, and the story for the most part. You know some of the spoiler bits.
Yeah, that
Uh,
we will zip it and never
that
speak
you
of
will
it.
zip it and we will not speak about it until it comes out.
No.
Uh, okay. Thank you, Jolene,
No problem.
for all your things. And I am going to stop the recording.